All right, are we good? We're recording. Hi everyone. I don't really know where to start with this one. What you're gonna get tonight is just off the cuff. I'm gonna do my best to not edit this video at all and just let it all filter out, and whatever happens, happens. So let's get the obvious out of the way. Tampa Bay Lightning lose 2-1 in overtime of Game 6 to lose the series 4-2 to the Toronto Maple Leafs and send Toronto to the second round for the first time since 2004. That in and of itself, I'll talk about Tampa and I'll talk about Toronto in a second, like individually, but I want to take some time to just admire and be a part of the moment. I can imagine that there are so many Leafs fans out there, certainly I would say a majority of them who have never seen them win a Stanley Cup. Um, but surely a significant number that have never seen them win a round in the playoffs. I mean, it's been 19 years, for goodness sake. There are people that have been alive that have never actually seen the Toronto Maple Leafs, grew up in Toronto, idolized the team, held on to that hope year after year, and they never got to see them do the deed. And we're only talking about one round. We're not even talking about a cup. The elation that Toronto Maple Leafs fans must be feeling right now is absolutely ecstatic. And truth be told, there's part of me that's a little numb to it because I'm a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. We've had an incredible run the last 3 years. We won back-to-back cups. We went to a third, and if not for some other circumstances, we may have actually won a third. So I want to first just say congratulations, Maple Leaf Nation. All the hard work that the organization has put in has paid off. You did the thing. You got to round 2. And sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, if you were not playing Tampa, I would have been rooting for you so hard in this series. And so for that reason, I'm actually happy that the Maple Leafs are in the second round to play either Florida or Boston. Who knows at this point? I think it's kind of gravy for Toronto right now, but of course they want to keep on going. So who knows? Maybe they're rooting for Florida. I am. I just don't want to see Boston do well. And so I can't help but smile thinking about that because I know Maple Leafs fans, some genuinely good people, not the annoying ones. Y'all can you keep being aggravating and obnoxious, but the ones that have been faithful, that have stuck around, congrats. I really am happy for you. What happened in the series? Tampa Bay lost 3 games in overtime. Lost the ability to close out a game. One of those games being up 4-1, by the way. Yikes. And I know a lot of people want to blame Andrei Vasilevsky for that. It's not his fault. It's not. The big cat was doing as much as you could expect from him, given the circumstances. I mean, look at the overtime goal tonight. He was in position, and the shot from Tavares goes off of Darren Radish's skate. What are you supposed to do with that? You know? I look at the comeback from 4-1. That's not Vasilevsky's fault. It was a game where the Bolts sat on their heels. It was reminiscent of the playoff years from like 2014 to 2018, where they just played simply to not lose the game. They didn't play to win. They didn't show the aggression, the drive, everything, and they dropped one that they easily could have had on home ice, and they could have been going into this game up 3-2 instead of down 3-2. And there was, I will fully admit, there was part of me that went into this game thinking, oh, it's the Toronto narrative again. Imagine if Tampa steals Game 5 in Toronto, holds Game 6 in Tampa, and then goes back to Toronto for Game 7 and sets up this epic storybook finale of the series, regardless of who wins. I can't help it. I did want to embrace the meme a little bit, but again, Toronto, I am very happy for you. But you know, as much as I could sit here and pick apart every little thing, I could talk about the officiating. It sucked. It did. It sucked. But it sucked for every series, you know? It's I can think of at least one call in every series for every single team in these playoffs so far that has just been utter garbage. Straight up. Name a team. Name a series. I've got a call in mind for you. I promise. You can't blame the officiating. You can't. You just can't. Yeah, I'm a little upset that there wasn't a high sticking call on that Brandon Hagel didn't draw a high sticking call with like 30 seconds to go in regulation. You know, it was obvious there was a ref right there. It didn't happen. You know, I, as well as a lot of Amalie Arita, thought that there should have been an interference or a cross-checking call or something happen on, I forget exactly who it was, a couple minutes into overtime. Guess what? It didn't happen. Fact of the matter is that you can't blame external forces for things that you don't do well. Just call it what it is. Tampa couldn't close out at least 2 games that they absolutely should have. Yeah, it's just what it is. You know what? The Lightning were not as deep this year as they had been in years past. Think back to the beginning of the year. They lost Ryan McDonagh. They lost Jan Rutta. 2 key defensive pieces. Okay, Ryan McDonagh, a veteran leader, one of the premier shot blockers in the entirety of the NHL, gone. Jan Rutta, excellent depth defensive player, gone. And then early on in the series, what happens? We lose Erik Cernak. He doesn't come back for the rest of the series. We lose Victor Hedman for a game and a half, basically. Drop that game, by the way. Not the half. They're banged up. The mileage started to show, and it's okay. Y'all, Tampa Bay Lightning fans, let's remember for a second. Over the course of the last 3 seasons, the Lightning played an extra 68 games. Okay? Almost a full season's worth of hockey over the course of 3 years. Factor in these 6 games that came from this series. 74 extra games. Yikes. If it had gone to game 7 and they had played another full 7 against Boston or Florida, that's a full season of hockey extra versus versus a team that has not played any playoff hockey in the last 3 years. Eventually it was going to take its toll. I think if there's anything to be said from a frustration standpoint is that Tampa looked like the better, in air quotes, team over the course of, I'll say, 5 out of 6 games. Obviously, game 2, they got pushed. It wasn't even close. But game 1, dominating performance. Game 3, should have won, didn't. Game 1, dominating performance. Let Toronto back in, lost. Game 5, won. Game 6, showed the spirit to come back. Couldn't get the job done. And they had opportunities. They did. It's disappointing. It is. But look, if I have a message for Tampa Bay Lightning fans, is that it's okay. You know? We have got to bear witness to something incredible over the last 3 seasons. 2 Stanley Cup wins and a 3rd Stanley Cup run. You know how many teams would kill for that? You know how many teams would kill for 1? Toronto's one of them. Seriously. And maybe a lot of people will argue that, you know, that's winner's mentality. Oh, you get to sit back and you get to rest on the cups that you've won and all the successes you've had. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. I played no part of that. I'm not on the ice. I'm not in the front office. I'm not doing anything to assist the team besides rooting them on from thousands of miles away and hoping for the best. I have no right to any monicum of success that the Tampa Bay Lightning have had. But I still get to enjoy it, just as any fan enjoys something good that happens from their team. So Lightning fans, chill. We had a good run. It's not over. This is not me writing eulogy for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But I'm also well aware that we have been razor thin on the salary cap for the last 3 years. And decisions are going to have to be made. The core is sticking around, okay? We're not losing Stamkos or Kucherov or Hedman or Vasilevsky or Point, okay? We're not losing Hagel or Paul or Sergachev, okay? Relax. The rest, who knows? It may be an entirely different Tampa Bay Lightning squad that takes the ice next season. And guess what? I'm going to be just as excited to watch them as I was for this squad this year. And that's okay. Time goes on. You know what's great about the sport of hockey, especially the NHL? Anything can happen. As I sit here to record this, obviously Toronto just won its first series since 2004, 19 years. Good for them. Congratulations. The Florida Panthers are playing a Game 7 against the Boston Bruins, the team that won literally the most games in NHL history in one season, and that happens tomorrow night. The Seattle Kraken, an expansion team, are playing a Game 7 against the reigning defending Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche, I think, tomorrow night. As I'm recording this right now, the LA Kings and the Edmonton Oilers are going at it, and last I checked, Edmonton was up. And New York Islanders almost got close the other night. They almost did it. At the end of the day, such a great sport. It doesn't do me any good to sit here and get upset about it. Yeah, I know a lot of people want to see me get bummed out and maybe scream and throw things. Who cares? Honestly, who cares? This is fun. I get to watch a sport for fun in my free time. I get to react to it for fun because I think some poor soul on the internet is going to be subjected to my face and my takes on the sport of professional hockey. Awesome. And if that's you, thanks for stopping by and watching. Sincerely. So where do we go from here? Well, we watch the rest of the playoffs. Yeah. We've got none of the matchups are set yet, right? Yeah. I don't think any of them are. They're all still up in the air. The Rangers and the Devils. Actually, I want to check and see. I know they were playing tonight. Talk about another amazing one to be following. Just the Rangers and the Devils series. Well, right now the Rangers are up 5-2 on New Jersey in Game 6 with less than a minute to play. So they're going to a Game 7, probably on Monday night. This is a great sport we get to be a part of. And yeah, I'm going to remember all the wins, and I'm going to kind of sit on that. But I'm also just going to be excited for whoever wins, unless it's Boston. Because, obviously, it's Boston. So Tampa fans, I'm glad that we could be a part of this ride together. It's been a lot of fun. It's not over. But just be prepared that next year's team is probably going to look different. I don't know what's going to happen. I think the fourth line is probably sticking around. Maroon, Perry, Belmar. But all those guys are aging. They're not going to stick around forever. Lightning have to develop some young talent. In come Nick Paul, Brandon Hagel, Tanner Jeannot, Ross Colton, Anthony Cirelli still there. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. But in the meantime, congrats, Toronto. Sincerely. Bottom of my heart. I'm so happy for all of you. Give them hell in the second round. Whether you play the Panthers or the Bruins, whoever it may be, give them hell. Go for the cup. You win all in, do it. Go win the whole damn thing. My phone, I don't know you can hear it, but my phone has been blowing up the entire time that I've been sitting here recording this because, well, there are people on the internet that want to see me mad or upset. Whatever. It's a game. It's a game. Have fun with it. When all the matchups are set, I'll have a round 2 predictions video coming. But in the meantime, I'm going to continue to work on this Bottle of Pink Whitney. Gonna get a good sleep tonight. Night, everyone.